I'm here with 2020 linebacker commit to Oklahoma, Brynden Walker. Brynden, how you doing?
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I only watched the first episode of Last Chance U by the time we were recording this, and I was asking you not to spoil it for me, but like you said it was different. I'm gonna ask you to go a little bit deeper into that without spoiling it if you can, but like different, like good or different, like bad?
Kind of both.
Okay.
I mean, this is probably the most explicit, the most candid Coach JB has been. I mean, it's a lot, but I don't know if you know, but how their season went, but I'm not going to spoil it if you don't.
I deliberately did not read any Indy news like for the last year. Like outside of recruiting, that's about it.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to tell you, but
okay.
It's different. I will say that.
All right. Well, I want to talk about you. You made headlines, you made waves. I've talked about you on the channel from time to time about first committing to Oklahoma State and then flipping your commitment to OU. What went into that process for you? Like, were you thinking about it the whole time? Were you waiting on an offer? What was going on?
First off, I think for me, I was really big on getting out of state for just the longest time. And I think for going to that Oklahoma State visit was pretty enlightening for me that I wanted to stay in state. And then I felt like home, committed there. And I kind of had I didn't really think I would get an offer from OU, but at the same time, I felt pretty ill towards that. I felt pretty ill towards OU for the longest time and had a really bad attitude. And it kind of stemmed from my sophomore year and how, I was kind of getting recruited by him, and then it just stopped. And then for me, that kind of sucked because, it was just abrupt. It was very, out of the blue, just like after talking to, back then it was Mike Gundy, but after talking to him and then just it stopping, it especially from a school like OU that you see on headlines all the time, they're blue blood. It hurt. So me and my mom felt pretty ill towards OU just for the longest time. But that OU offer came and I was pretty shocked, but I was extremely excited. And then the more I got to talk to Odom and Grinch, the more I got to appreciate, the more I stopped feeling ill towards them and started feeling a way better. And they kind of just broke it down that I'm being recruited at a whole different position and that they hadn't really had time to really look at what the 2020 class, because they were trying to figure out what they had there. And so, that meant a lot. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to, unpack that just a little bit. So you were being recruited by Coach Gundy, and I assume, who else for, because you're saying a different position. So, this is a part of the story that I know I haven't heard. So going back to your sophomore season, what position were you being recruited at by Oklahoma?
Tight end, H-back.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's way different.
And that was, that's all I heard. For my sophomore year, after my sophomore year, and that's all all the interest I was getting was all tight end, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of sad.
I'm not a tight end.
Yeah, I do not like it at all. But just got to talk to the coaches some more, and then I kind of built a relationship with the coaches, and it never really. It was just at the beginning it was kind of just like a bridge I didn't want to break, just because you just never know, and no disrespect towards OSU, but some things happened there, and it kind of shed a bad light, in my opinion. And it kind of made me kind of think about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. Well, did you? From my understanding, you knew Miles Price's. Y'all were friendly.
Yeah, that was. Miles Price. There's another thing that kind of happened at OSU there that I know no one knows about, and I'm not going to be the one to spill the beans on it.
Okay.
But that kind of got me. And it's with another dude that was pretty close. But no disrespect towards them, because it's a great program. And, I mean, they did treat me like family, and I really appreciate everything they did for not just me, but my mom and my sister. But I think, and just the more I kind of thought about OU and kind of looking at myself and where I want to see myself, and I like Grinch's vision for what he has. And especially in my meetings with Coach Odom, looking over film, and a lot of it was Washington State. And then like looking at the film from Washington State and doing my own research on Washington State. And that played a huge part.
So like I've made the assertion that you're enormous to be a rising senior at your position, 6'3", 245. And I was like, I wouldn't be shocked to see this dude move into defensive tackle, but that's not at all what it is that I'm getting from you and your conversations from Grinch and Odom. Sounds like you looking at what, rush inside linebacker?
Oh yeah, it's basically from my conversations with Odom and Grinch, it's they're going to play the best Will, the best Mike, and the best rush in. And I'd say probably my primary position is rush in. And that's where I'm at right now. I think Edgren's at middle, but like the coaches said, like I could go in as a rush in, but I could get moved to inside linebacker at any time if they think that I'm better there, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't mind putting my head down, hitting a little bit. But
yeah, I mean that's the film, but it also seems like what you love to do is come off the edge. I mean, you got a great first step.
Oh yeah, no, sacks are fun. Sacks are a ton of fun. There's no feeling that beats getting a sack on a third down. I don't know. I mean, no touchdown, no nothing. Just getting a sack on a third down is probably the best feeling, in my opinion.
Oh man. Okay, so just to dig into your recruiting with Oklahoma just a little bit more. When the conversation started to re-up and restart, what did it take to mend that bridge? I mean, because you made a smart decision not to burn a bridge, but also that means that a new group of folks had to convince you that, hey, look, there's some things that happened before us. We weren't here for that. Can we get a conversation going?
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I've always been pretty interested in OU. I mean, what Oklahoma kid isn't interested in OU? And just, I mean, that was kind of for me, that was just kind of, I already had interest in OU prior to having an offer from them. But it just, I don't know. I just keeping that and I wanted to hear out the old coach. Cause I mean, I did my first visit there. And before, some of the first phone calls were just like, I mean, just kind of explaining everything that was happening, especially in my situation. It was very, I don't know. I just felt like and I just bought in from my first visit, especially with Grinch. I mean, Grinch, oh my gosh. I bought into the entire, I mean, his vision and I mean, everything he's accomplished everywhere he's been. Odom, I mean, I believe and trust in that entire staff. And it's kind of funny looking at Coach Manning's, his Twitter.
Yeah, they do live. He live. Like I get live on like my channel and on like my show, and people were reaching out to me when Manning got hired. It's like, hey, yo, man, yeah, it's like, is this you? Like, nah, man. I'm into it. I had a couple questions about your dad and just the kind of legacy that he had at LSU going into the league. I understand, that you are not your dad, but did that ever come into your thinking about, hey, I have these bloodlines, I have these genes. Is there something I have to do with them, as opposed to, is it hard to just be Brynden?
I'd say at first, my big thing was just making an image for myself. Like I kind of knew it was inevitable that my dad was going to come up. But I mean, it can be nice. I mean, it's nice having that in my blood. I mean, there's a ton of connections there, there's a ton of people I've met, a ton of past teammates of his that, I mean, it's nice to talk to. That are nice to talk to. But I would say, I mean, I still do prefer to keep everything just primarily on me. I mean, I don't have a problem with my dad's name being attached to anything, but at the end of the day, I kind of prefer to have my own image, and it just keeps me from ever feeling like I'm being compared, considering he I mean, had a really good career at LSU, and then got drafted in the 3rd round, which is, I mean, pretty high for a corner, and played in the league for about a decade. I mean, that's kind of a lot to live up to. And I know I'm not him. I really know I'm not him because I'm about 3 inches bigger and 40, 50 pounds. Yeah, 40, 50 pounds heavier. So
you enormous compared to your dad back when he's playing, man.
Oh yeah.
Now that's what's up.
But I'd say, especially the recruiting thing, I don't know. If you would have talked to me in the 8th grade, I would have told you I was going to play at LSU. But that died pretty quick. But I think it's all good.
All right, man. Well, Brynden Walker, Bishop McGuinness, linebacker, 2020 Oklahoma commit. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
No, thank you for having me on.